Hello, friends. I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. And today we're finally finishing up something I started a while back and went on longer than I really needed it to. But in the end, I kind of like the timing of it. This is looking at the final 20 of the top 100 on Board Game Geek's ratings of best games ever. This is the fifth part. I've done these in 20 game chunks where I'm just looking through the list kind of at the moment. So some of this could have changed since my last video, I would say, and into the next one, but this is the last video, as we look at the top 20 games of all time currently on Board Game Geek's Top 100. And the reason I say I like the timing of this is because right after we finish looking at this top 20 of everybody's favorite board games of all time, as currently ranked on Board Game Geek, I will begin next week with my fourth annual top 50 games of all time as of 2026. So stay tuned if you're really interested in seeing that. That'll be a three-part video series, as it usually is, where I go through 50 to 31, 30 to 11, and then my top 10 debuting on the anniversary of me starting the channel 4 years ago as of February 20th. So if you're really interested in seeing my personal favorite games as it stands right now, please make sure you're subscribed. You click the notification icon, whatever the case is, so that way you can be notified for my next video next week. But let's go ahead and look at this week's video where we're looking at the Board Game Geek's top 20. All right, so here we are with number 20, Slay the Spire, the board game. I don't know anything about Slay the Spire, the not board game. It's a video game, I guess, question mark. I also don't know anything about the board game. I don't know anything about Slay the Spire. Obviously, I've heard of it, but that's it. I haven't dug into it. I don't know anything about the IP or the game itself. Apparently, it's well liked though. If it's sitting here at number 20, so Slay the Spire, the board game, everybody's number 20, and I almost have no interest in it. Number 19 is Frosthaven. This is another one I have no interest in, and that's because I played Gloomhaven and I did not like it. It was not for me. I didn't like the way the game played out. I'm not a dungeon crawl person. I'm not a story person where I got to remember what's going on and keep up with stats. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. I did pick this up to try to replace World of Warcraft because I do play that, but it turns out I'd rather just turn on a video game and play than set up a board and read through rules and keep tabs of everything myself. So Gloomhaven didn't catch on. Its follow-on Frosthaven I had zero interest in. I couldn't have been less interested in hearing about this release. Number 18, SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, is a game I've heard of. In fact, I now own it because of all the good reviews it got last year, and I have played it. And if you check out my top 20 new to me games from last year, a video I put out just a few weeks ago, you'll see where it finished in my top 20 of new to me games from last year. And if you stay tuned to my top 50 videos, you might see it show up on there as well. So it's a good game. I enjoyed playing it. SETI. Another good game that I enjoyed playing is the Great Western Trail. I played this once and had lukewarm feelings on it the first play as we were all learning it. But then I got to play it a little bit on Board Game Arena. I picked up the Argentina version, and I really enjoyed that one. That one also showed up on my favorite new to me plays from last year. I think it might have been the year before. I think it was last year I got that one played. And I've gotten to play Great Western Trail more, and I've come to enjoy it more as well with the plays. So Great Western Trail, another really good one. At 16, Through the Ages, a new story of civilization. I love civilization games. In fact, this is a game that ever since I got in the hobby has been high on my to-play list. In fact, I almost bought it once, but it was a little pricier than I wanted to spend and ended up buying something else that I knew more people would enjoy. And that's the story of me picking up Marvel Legendary, because I don't care about Marvel, but it was cheaper and I heard great things, and I knew I could introduce it to a group a lot better than a long, drawn-out civilization game that cost more. So I didn't pick it up, and I still haven't played it. I believe there's an app for it or something anyway, but I haven't dug into it yet. It's been high on my list, just as a history person, a person who likes civilization games and good Euro games. Really, really need to check this one out. That's Through the Ages at Everybody in the World's number 16. Coming in number 15 is The Castles of Burgundy, a Stefan Feld game that I love. I love Stefan Feld games in general. My favorite designer, at least that I've played so far, as far as liking his games the most of the ones I've tried comparatively to other designers. Although there are some other designers that I really enjoy as well. Stefan Feld still designs the style of game I like, and Castles of Burgundy is no exception to that. It's a great game. I have the new deluxe box of everything. Number 14, Twilight Struggle. When I first got into the hobby, this was the number one game on this list, and so I bought it because if it's such a great game, I have to have it, right? If I'm in the hobby. The problem with Twilight Struggle is it's a long two-player game, and if you've been a fan of my channel for a while, you know I almost never play two-player games. It's just the player count that I don't get to the table. Nobody wants to be the one other person that comes and plays with me, so it rarely happens. I have played this twice, and I enjoyed it for the most part, but then I sold it because, again, I just have a hard time getting two-player games to the table. I've got a few others I prefer more that I've held on to that are just easier to get into, easier to play. And so I was able to sell off Twilight Struggle, but it is a good game. I would play it again, just not my copy, obviously. At number 13 is Gaia Project. This is the latest question mark or one of the implementations of Terra Mystica, another classic game that showed up on this list, I think, already, or maybe it'll appear again higher. I don't think so. I think it already showed up. Gaia Project is Terra Mystica in space, so it's got a lot of the same elements of the game. You're going to turn the land into the land that your people need, and you've got asymmetric abilities and powers and requirements, but you're going to slowly place things off your board into your developments to score a bunch of points as far as round points, in-game scoring, whatever it is. So, God Project, I'd be interested in checking it out, but I've got Terra Mystica, and I still haven't played that one fully. Number 12, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. I talked about Gloomhaven just a few minutes ago, so I won't go on this very much. From what I hear, it's just Gloomhaven, a little bit simpler in setup. I think it's the same game gameplay-wise, and that's what I didn't like about Gloomhaven. So I don't think having spiral-bound map boards and maybe a little bit of simplification is going to help me. So I've never been interested in the Jaws of the Lion either. Number 11, Spirit Island. This is a game I owned briefly. I played a few times and I could never get into it. I feel like it's in a weird place. It's kind of a complex Euro, but also it's a cooperative game. And for me, those are two different things I want to bring to the table. So I don't want them in a box together. If I want a cooperative game, I want it to be welcoming and friendly because I use those to introduce people to the hobby and gaming in general. So I don't want the complexity of a Euro game if I'm trying to introduce people in a game where we're all working together and learning what gaming can be. And as a Euro, I just didn't care for it that much. There's plenty of other Euros I'd much rather play than dealing with Spirit Island. Again, it was almost overly complex. Couldn't get into the flow of the right balance of using my characters the right way to keep the island clear. So I got rid of it. I sold it off, and I don't regret it at all. Not for me. Spirit Island. Even though I like cooperatives and I like Euros, I don't want them to be in the same game box. Getting into the top 10, we have Star Wars Rebellion. This is a two-player game that I've played twice now, and I really enjoy it. I like Star Wars. And so this one really feels like Star Wars. I know everybody says that, but it's true if you haven't played it. You're controlling the leaders of the rebels and of the Empire, and they're going around trying to thwart each other, basically. The rebels are trying to keep their base hidden, is the main crux of the game, and the Empire is going around trying to find their hidden base so that way they can destroy it and basically crush the rebellion. It's a lot of fun, a lot of moving parts, action cards, and things like that. Ships on the map, battles, logistics, tactics, everything that's in it. It's a two-player game, which means I have a hard time getting to the table, as I just mentioned. But I still own this one because it turns out I like this one and I want to get it back to the table. And I feel like it's easier to get back to the table, even though it's just as complex and time consuming as Twilight Struggle. This one is going to be the one I would bring out of the two if I still had both of them. So this is the one I kept. Number 9, Terraforming Mars. Everybody loves this game. I was lukewarm on it at best. It's fine. I like the Ares is it Ares Expeditions? I think that was called. The card Terraforming Mars game, which does a lot of the same stuff in a smaller package. Still takes about the same amount of time. But for me, I just enjoy it better. It's got also that action selection lead follow mechanism that Race for the Galaxy has. So Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, I much prefer to Terraforming Mars, the box. And so that's the one I play, and I don't care to play this one again. Number 8, War of the Ring, second edition, which means somewhere around here there might have been a first edition, whatever. I haven't played this one. I don't know much about it. If this one's like a dungeon crawl style story game, I have zero interest. If it's some other game with Lord of the Rings IP attached to it, I'd give it a try. I like Lord of the Rings well enough, but it's not one of those intellectual properties that I'm a big fan of. Like Star Wars, this one's just not me. If it's not a dungeon crawl story driven game, I'd play it. I think I said that already. But otherwise, I don't know. Whatever. Number 7, Dune Imperium Uprising. The Dune Imperium I have played. My buddy owns it, even though it lives here. It's almost like I own it now. I think it's lived here for almost 2 years now. He just won't take it home. It stays here. We play it here, so that's fine. Dune Imperium, it's everything from the originals and the expansions, and it's compatible with them in its own standalone new edition. It's a good game. I like it. It's good worker placement, card drafting ability, asymmetric player powers, uh, battles at the end of each round, etc. It's got a lot in it, a lot to like. I really like Dune Imperium Uprising. At number 6, Twilight Imperium, 4th edition. Is this one people are playing the most? I think when I first started, it was the 3rd edition everybody was playing the most. But whatever. Twilight Imperium, big, long uh, exploration. I think it's 4X game, whatever. I've never played it. I have seen people playing it at a convention before, and it looks fine. I'd give it a try, but I'm not excited to spend a whole day playing one game. Um, but people do. It's a lifestyle game. It's a well-liked game, obviously, here at number 6, and it's been up here on the Board Game Geek list for years, so I'm sure it's a great game. And I'm definitely down to play it, but I'm not looking out for it, if you know what I mean. And finally, the top 5 games all time right now. These are always changing in flux, especially as new games are coming along. Starting with number 5, Dune Imperium. I haven't played this one. I played the Uprising. It's the same game. They're the same game. They're taking up 2 spots in the top 10. That drives me crazy. They need to fix this part of this list. I've mentioned it, I think, in every video now. It annoys me to no end. It's the same game as number 7. Just split the difference. That's the number 6 game, Dune Imperium. Whatever version it is number 6 on Board Game Geek right now, all time. Not 5 and 7, taking up 2 spots. Other games could be on here. Number 4, Gloomhaven, I already talked about in this video, and again with Frost Tape and whatever, it's basically the same game. Jaws of the Lion, same game. Put them all into a Gloomhaven package and call it number whatever is the average of those 3 that are also in this very video. So they're all in the top 20, top 15, wherever they all lined up. I don't remember anymore. I don't care. I don't like them. They should all take up 1 spot, not 3 different spots. Whatever. Moving on. Pandemic Legacy Season 1. This is my favorite of the legacies, but again, Pandemic Legacy 1, 2, 3, 0, whatever. Put them all together, average them out, something, math, put them in a spot as Pandemic and Legacy is number 23 or whatever. I don't care. I really enjoy this one. So of the 3 complaints I have back to back to back about these being the same games, this is by far my favorite. Number two, Ark Nova was, I think, my number one favorite game of all time last year on my top 50 video, plugging next week's video starting out. See where Ark Nova lands this year in my top 50. Subscribe and come back. And number one, I mentioned whenever Lancashire Brass showed up that I would talk about Brass again in the future because this has been the number one game for some time now. I think pushing a year, maybe over a year. Um, so Brass Birmingham, I haven't played it. My buddy owns one of these too, and he will not open it up, read the rules, and bring it over and teach it. He'll come play my games, but he won't bring his game for us to learn. We keep mentioning him, hey, you should bring Brass sometime. He hasn't yet. So I don't remember which one it is because I haven't seen it. If I'd seen it, but basically just say you bought Brass, and so I don't know which one it is. Looking forward to him bringing it so I can try him out. Haven't played him. But Brass Birmingham, number one game of all time as of right now, going through this list. So I'm looking forward to playing it. I didn't like Nucleum though. I think I mentioned that with the last one, and I think they got similar DNA. So we'll see. But that's it. That's the Board Game Geek Top 100 in 5 monthly installments where I skipped a couple months. Leading right into, as I mentioned, my top 50 games of all time as of this year, coming up next week as we start with number 50 through 31. I hope you come back and watch those videos and comment on all these videos, some of your favorite games, and why I'm wrong about some of my thoughts about these games, because I feel like I'm more negative towards a lot of these top 10 than positive, and that's a funny place to be, but it is what it is. I love checking out these favorite games because that's how you find good games. Clearly, if they're on the list, people love them. But I like finding obscure games too. So if you know any of those, please let me know what to check out, especially if you know the style of game I like from following along with me for these years. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.